What up, everybody? It's Monster Mike back with another video for you guys. I know it's been a while. Today we're gonna talk about a certain topic. I'm driving to the gym right now, by the way, so it's today. I'm gonna go do upper body. I'm gonna do probably some back and buys. So today's topic is gonna be how to pass the Army AFT, which is the Army fitness test, right? So for y'all who don't know Army stuff, basically the Army fitness test is deadlift, right? You got to deadlift 3 reps, then you got to do hand release push-ups, which is T push-ups. So you go down, you spread your wings, your arms have to be fully extended and your hands have to be off the ground, or you can have them on the ground actually now, and then you bring them back and then you push yourself up. That's a T push-up. Then we have the sprint drag carry, which means the first thing we do is we sprint from point A to point B, we sprint back, and then we grab the sled, which the sled is basically just 2 45-pound plates on top of each other. We pull that from point A to point B, bring it back, and then from there we do a side shuffle. We side shuffle from point A to point B, we come back, grab 2 40-pound kettlebells, and then I run. Other people walk, I run. Run down from point A to point B, come back, sprint point A to point B, and that's the sprint drag carry. Then we do the plank, which is for me the easiest one, right? The plank, you gotta play. It depends on your age group, but me, I plank for 3 minutes and 40 seconds or 3 minutes 20 seconds, something like that. It's max. That's max. Okay, and then you have the 2-mile run, which is timed. So people want to know how you max it. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, you have your minimum standard to pass, which is 60%. Whatever your age group, whatever your gender, everybody's different, right? And then you have your max, which is you making 100% on that event to make you look like a beast, right? To me, people who are half-assed, people who just want to pass, they do the 60% and then they're done. They don't want to do 100%. They're not beasts like me. They're not beasts like us, right? They're not trying to go above and beyond and be great, dare to be great. They're just trying to go in there and do the bare minimum and get out, right? There's nothing special about those people. Well, I'm here to tell you that, that for the longest time, I've been trying to max this AFT, right? The Army fitness test. I've been trying to max it, which means getting 100 in all 5 events, 100 points in all 5 events. Just like the past Army test, it was called the APFT, which was your standard, what everybody knows, right? Even if you're in the Army, not in the Army. The APFT was just the regular push-ups, right? 2 minutes push-ups, many you can do. And then sit-ups, 2 minutes, many as you can do. And then a 2-mile run. Now the APFT, man, I would always max, like 300, right? All across the board. 300, 300, 300. Like, I think I got maybe like 4 or 5 consecutive 300s on the APFT, right? Once they swapped it, so basically, they've been wanting to change the Army fitness test for a long time, and they never did it. They talked about it, and a bunch of generals sat down, sergeant majors, whatever, in the Army, and said, you know what, we want to change it to something else, more weight oriented, more combat oriented, right? Because push-ups, sit-ups, it's not exactly combat oriented, right? They wanted to make it something more like, okay, yeah, like weights, okay, cool. So they added kettlebells, they added the deadlift with the hex bar, right? For those of y'all who don't know, we use the hex bar. We don't use the straight bar for our deadlifts. And you're talking to somebody who's never done deadlifts a day in his life before he joined the Army, right? I haven't, right? I played sports all through school. and everything before, you know, high school, middle school, whatever, you know, and I never done a deadlift. I've done power cleans, I've done squats, I've done bench press, but I've never done deadlift before. So needless to say, the first time I ever did a deadlift, like, I hurt myself, right? I hurt myself, like, my lower back was all jacked up for a few days. But I had to really, like, practice my form and start from scratch, basically, right, on the deadlifts. So for me, right, like, to max the AFT, right, you have to, like, before, like, during the APFT, you just had to be slim. You had to be slim and you had to be fast. And that's how you would max the APFT. Now they're making it to where you need to be strong. You need to be able, you need to be a muscle head. You need to be you need to be a well-rounded soldier all across the board. You have to be fast, you have to have stamina, you have to have endurance, you have to be quick. Like, it's full body, right? Full body muscles. So for me, right, like, obviously the plank is the easiest one. The run, second easiest, right? Because I always, you know, I've been running for years. You know, COVID did something to me where it transformed me into this, like, I don't know, this master runner, you know, because before COVID, yeah, I could run. Yeah, you know, like, running was something I did, you know, very frequently, but not to this extent, right? But the run has always been another strong point of mine. Sprint drag carry, that's the butt kicker, man. That's the one that everybody kind of, like, struggles with, because, like I said, dragging weights, right? If you're a big boy, all you gotta do is grab those straps and lean back on that sprint drag carry, and you can just basically just lean back all the way, back pedal all the way down to the cones and come back. For people who are small and they don't have a lot of weight, it's a little bit more difficult, because you got to use your muscles. You got to activate your biceps and your forearms and your upper back muscles to get that sled across the freaking across the finish line. The kettlebells, when you grab them, if you want to max this event, you cannot walk. I've seen people grab them kettlebells and they're walking or they're speed walking. No, take them kettlebells and run with them. That's what I do. You know, if you're tired and your legs are like jelly, like, just go do a slow run, but you have to run with those kettlebells. You have to, because if you don't, your time is going to decrease rapidly, right? When you sprint, man, like, you're in the front leaning rest position, right? For those of y'all who don't know what front leaning rest is it's the push-up position, right? That's where you're starting. You're on the floor, you're on the ground, like, if you're gonna do a push-up, and then they say ready, go, you jump up and you take off and you sprint all the way down to the cone. I think it's like 25 meters, 50 meters, whatever. My brain is it's early. I don't remember the actual measurement right now, but yeah. So you run all the way down, you touch it with your hand, boom, and you sprint back. You need that explosive power. You're fresh right off the push-ups, so you have that explosive power in your legs. You explode up and you take off running and you come back. All right, and then you grab the sled. You know, you got to make sure that you set up before you even do this, before they even say ready, set, go, you want to make sure you set up the sled the way you want it. Set up the kettlebells the way you want it. It's your kitchen. You're about to cook, so you need to set everything up. All right. Then once you set it up, right, you have everything in place where when you come back from the sled drag, all right, you know, like, after you do the side shuffle, that you know where your kettlebells are, so you can grab them, right? There's a method to everything. Deadlift is the same thing, right? When you do the deadlift, because it's on the hex bar, you have to be able to to have that balance. It's not just about the weight, it's about balancing it, because sometimes with the hex bar, the weights will lean more to the front or the rear. So your grip on the bars have to be even, right? If you go up and you do a rep and it doesn't feel even, you can adjust yourself. Your hands cannot leave the bar. You have to keep, and by regulation, your hands cannot do this and let go of the bar, because then you're terminated, right? You have to keep your hands on the bar. Okay, you can slide them, right? And then once you regrip, or once you adjusted your hands, you can't regrip, but once you adjust your hands, then you go back up and do another rep. Okay, I did 350 and oh man, I didn't do it right, but I got it up 3 times. 350, that's max for us males, or for Lisa in my age bracket. Okay, females, I think it's 240. Okay, so like, there's a method to it. Okay, like I said, this is something you have to practice on. Whatever you're weak on. For me, it was the deadlift, right? I could not hit deadlift max, you know, hitting that 340, 350. You know, shoot, I only weigh 170 pounds, so I really had to build up my strength and practice, you know, and get used to deadlifting 300 plus pounds, because it's not the same deadlifting 240 and 340. Oh man, like the difference is so drastic, you know, it's so drastic. So you really have to build up to that. But that's all I got right now. I just wanted to share that with you, because I got my 500 finally. To share my score with you guys, I deadlifted the 350. First I did 320 to warm up. The 320 was my warm up, my first attempt. And then from 320, I went up to 350 and I did it. And oh man, like it was rough, but I got it up. And then my push-ups, I did 62 in 2 minutes. So that's max. And then I did sprint track carry, for me was 1 minute and 31 seconds. That's max. And then my plank obviously was 3 minutes 40 seconds, whatever, that's max. And then my 2 minute mile was 12:05, I think. So that was my score. Like I said, it took me a while to get to that level where I could do that, where I could make 100 points on each event. Like I said, it's not easy. In the Army, you know, like if you can do over 450 points on the AFT, then you're pretty good. You're pretty fit. Okay, anything below 400, you need a lot of work, man. I always tell, you know, my soldiers, I'm like, if you can't hit at least 400, you're doing something really wrong. You're not doing enough. You're slacking, right? You should be, you know, hitting at least 450 plus, you know, as a soldier, to be reliable. None of this half-ass crap. All right, man, this video is kind of long, so, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. But till next time, I'll make another video later on about the Norwegian foot march, which a lot of y'all already know what it is. Some of y'all don't, but I'll make a video about that later on. Later.